Hi all, it's Froggy Friday. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this today. I'm going to wing it, as usual. Brain isn't functioning properly. Excuse the state of my hands. I just had a delivery of black mica powder and just say it wasn't particularly well sealed. I've cleaned up as best I can, but it's been one of those weeks, really. I discovered last night we've got a leak in our water main, and I'm struggling to get hold of a plumber as well, so hey, go me. Anyway, let's crack on. I've got these eyes I want to use. Now, because they're different from at the top from the bottom, so first of all, to hold this up to the light so I can see where the line is. And it's there. Whoops-ish. But I also want to make a mark to show which way is the top. The line is there. And that is the top. Okay. Now, one at a time. You've seen this done 100 times. You know how it goes. Little drop of UV resin into the eye socket. Pop the eye in. And just push it because it's turned upside down. Yay. There we go. Right. So can you even see that? Kind of. I just want to make sure that's actually in the eye and not in the eyelid. Grab my little UV torch. Give it a zap. Make sure it stays where I want it to be. And I will do the other one off camera. And I will be right back. See you in a tick. Right, now the sort of kind of plan that I have in mind is to use these glitter UV resins. Got these from Temu. I've used them before on the channel. But what I want to try to do is kind of drip it in the middle. Now these do move a lot slower than normal UV. I want it to kind of run down. I might need to give that some encouragement. Right. That's sort of not quite how I wanted it, but close enough. Please zap that so it stays where I want it to be, or sort of where I want it to be. Should hold it. Now I want to do the same this side. Not going to be exactly the same, but I think it's going to be close enough. I want it to be a little more blobby at the bottom. Now I'm going to put a few more of these in. and I will come back to you when I'm ready to move on to the next part. See you in a sec. Right, so just to add to the fun, my battery is running low on my torch. So I'm just going to do the first bit of the next part, and I'm going to put my phone on, my light on charge, and I'll be back. But first of all, this one is called Violet. The first one I used was just called Dark Purple. So basically want to do the same thing again, but I want to do it kind of like a starbursty-ish sort of thing. I want it to run down and blob. As you can probably see, I put some in the toes as well. I'll do the same with this colour. It's really nice if one day something would just go right. I'm still kind of trying to find my way around the craft room. I've got a new desk. It's much bigger, but I've had to move other things out of the way to make room for it. And now they're kind of hard to find. So let's see how much of this I can do before my torch gives up the ghost. And again, my torch is not happy. So once I got this one done, I will put my torch on charge, and then I'll come back when we're ready to move on again. See you in a bit. Right, I've just given the torch a couple of minutes just to put enough in there for you to see the beginning of the next part, and this is called Rose. And so basically what I'm going to do, again, same thing. It's not actually much different in colour from the violet, it's just a little lighter. Hopefully the difference will show better when it's got the backing on it. Not very different at all. No matter. I'll get this finished off camera, or this part at least. Put it under the big UV light, and I'll be back when we're ready to move on. See you later. This is finally cured. So the plan now is I'm going to use some crushed glass and some diamond dust to back it, but I'm also going to put a light in there, so I'm going to need to put my little silicone plug in. That will sit roughly there-ish. Obviously I'll need to balance that properly. Yes, what was I saying? I don't know. Anyway, before I can do that, I need to get some gloves. Magic. Right. I have got 75 grams of resin pro crystal mixed up. I put it through my resinous stand mixer because it saves my wrists an enormous amount. And it's also been through my resinous debubbler. So first of all, I'm going to pop this diamond dust in. I want a reasonable amount because I don't really want this filler to be that visible. But if I don't use filler, I'm going to have to do this in a couple of layers because it's so warm. I think they said today it's going to get to 42 here, which is a bit on the hot side. So this diamond dust I got from Temu, and it's not as good as the other one. It's nice. I mean, it stays pretty well suspended, and it is nice and sparkly, but it's not as fine as the one I usually use, which I got from Amazon forever ago. It's mixed in now anyway, so I'm going to put the stones in. If I can get the lid off. Start with that and see how we go. The stones do more or less disappear. It's going to be way more than I need, so I'll get another mould shortly. And give this a good stir, make sure all the stones are coated and get as many of the bubbles out as possible. Because adding anything to resin like this will create bubbles. Just going to give that a quick squirt of isopropyl alcohol. And let's get some of this in. I want it to be mostly stones at the bottom. I'll very gently push some up into the head. I do need to be quite gentle with this, because otherwise I'm going to knock out, well, the eyes and the UV that I put in there. I'm just going to put that into place. And now add more of the stones around it. I mixed up far too much resin because of the filler, but it's okay. I have more molds than any normal human being could ever need. While I was on holiday, I had another, I think, 3 Temu deliveries. And there's yet another one floating about in the ether somewhere because I keep trying to deliver it when the place I get my deliveries to is closed. I think they've made 3 attempts so far. Excuse me while I wipe my sweaty face. I'm going to make sure I get stones around the sides of the plug as well. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this off my desk because I have another project I need to get done this morning. But when I top it up, I will go over it with something like this and just make sure that none of the bits of glass are above the actual mould or above the resin, because it's not easy to sand with glass in. Just want to make sure that it's just resin up in the toes and that the chunks of glass are not protruding above the resin. And I will come back to you when we're ready for the demo. See you in a bit. Hi all, we're ready for the demold. I'm not sure which is the best way to go about this, actually. In bits off there. I think I'll get him out of the mould first. See bits of excess flying everywhere. Thought the toes felt a little sticky then, but they're fine. So careful. Careful, careful. There we go. Again, little bits of excess overpour. There's a very, very slight, I don't think you can see it, tiniest little bubbles ever under there. Push things out of the way. Right, now let's get the plug out. Well, that's a good start. Never mind, it's time I made new ones anyway. My little pokey thing. Right, so get this down there. And out she comes. So, are we ready? Yay! Actually turned out really pretty. I got a bit carried away here. That's not looking so good, but the rest of it I really like. Now the thing to do is see how it looks with the light. Yep. I'm kind of happy with that, I think. Hope you like this. Somewhere I've got a remote control for this light, but you know what? I'll put it down. As you do. I wanted to see what it looked like with a plain white light under it, but I cannot find the remote because I've tidied up. That's okay. The eyes ended up the right way up. Turn this light off for a second. I think the broken glass gives it a nice crystal effect, which helps kind of diffuse the light as well. There's very little tidying up to do at all, which is unusual for me as well. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go and see what crowns I have available, and I'll be right back. See you in a tick. Okay, I got a little purpley crown, and I actually did buy more glue. Okay. I got round to it eventually. I've been talking about it for weeks. Oh! Okay. That's not funny, is it? Let's drip a bit of that on there. Pop that in place. I'm going to get this cleaned up before it dries. Such a joy. I should always do these things off screen first, but then you would have all this fun, would you? Right, I'll get this cleaned up. I'll be right back. I got most of the glue off. It's just like being back in school and you covered your hands in Elmer's glue and then peeled it off after it dried, but this is not as easy to get off as that is. Anyway, she is done. She has eyelashes, she has a crown, she has her light. Now, with the extras, I just pulled one of these. Let's see if I can get this out without injuring myself. And making any further mess. I think I made enough of a mess for one day, don't you? A bit of twist. And a pull. There you go. There's a couple of bubbles in there, but that's absolutely fine. I don't think it spoils it at all. These are the awkward ones. Especially when you slightly overfill them like I have done. Once you can get hold of the edge, it's not so bad, but get my nail down there to loosen the seal. Yeah, this is it's been used a lot and it's starting to give up the ghost. And there we go. Grab the edges, give it a push, and a little twist. And there we are. Pretty little jar. Using the leftovers from Frog. Hope you enjoyed this. Froggy Friday. Please check out the playlist on there. There's loads of fabulous frogs to be seen. If you're not already a member, please, not a member, subscriber. I don't have membership yet. One of these days, maybe. Yeah, if you're not already subscribed, please do. It won't cost you anything, and it does help my channel out a massive amount. And give us a thumbs up. And I will see you for the next Froggy Friday. In fact, I'll see you on Monday for my next upload. Bye.